What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Gladiator 2. To be honest, I don't know how many people were really clamoring for a Gladiator 2. The first one is up there with some of those movies that I consider perfect. My dad introduced it to me, and I've watched it at least 5 times, and it's just so fucking good. It's so quotable. Russell Crowe is amazing, and it's just a perfect one-off movie. But of course, we live in the land of sequels, and inevitably, we pretty much are going to get a sequel to everything that made money at some point, which is not always a bad thing, but it's obviously not always a good thing. I'm looking at you, Joker 2. You were pointless and shit. Like, how do you double up? That is the thing I will give Gladiator 2. It does not touch the first one, in my opinion, not really even close. But I feel it does enough to justify its existence, and is overall a pretty entertaining movie, if, again, not even close to the first one. Like, I'd put the first Gladiator easily in the 9s, probably mid-9s, and Gladiator 2 I'd put, like, low to mid-7s. And being in the 7s is still a good movie. And I actually had a really good time watching this movie. I just don't think it's really gonna leave a lasting impression on me. Like, well, actually, I already know it isn't, but like the first one did, and this one just didn't. It didn't really have those powerful emotional moments that I was looking for. Like, they start to have them, but it never feels like it fully comes out. I don't know, there's something about the pacing of certain scenes that just feels off. You know what, come to think of it, I feel like the whole pacing for this movie like kind of throws me for a loop, because it's a 2.5-hour movie and yet it feels so fast. Like, the beginning I feel like takes it slow, to kind of ramp up stuff, but then it hits a certain point and stuff just goes. Like, I don't know if it was intentional or if they realized the movie would be 5 hours long and they couldn't, sustain that budget for that long or some shit like that, and they had to quicken it up in the second half, but something changed, and characters are coming and going, and a lot of shit's happening, and you're never really able to, like, focus on one moment. Like, you're just moving through so many things so quickly. It just felt pretty janky to me, but the scenes are good. They're well acted. You got a lot of great actors in this movie, but just something about the pacing of the scenes, especially later in the movie, really throws me off and definitely impacts my entire opinion of the movie. And just to throw it on top, I feel like the ending is the most, I guess I would say, tarnished because of this really quickened pacing, because it really feels like it happens in the blink of an eye, and it all just felt a little bit too convenient to me. Now, despite the pacing and all that, I do enjoy the story. There is a lot of cool moving pieces, and I do mean a lot of moving pieces. It's not like Game of Thrones level or nothing, but there's a good amount going at all times, and it really kept me engaged. Like, despite me saying that the pacing being so damn fast is like a flaw of this movie, I was never bored, and really going into it, I expected to be, at least at some points, but no, never really felt that. I was pretty locked in the entire time. Now, I think where this movie shines is in its overall look, I suppose. There is a lot more CGI in this movie than there was in the original, but that's kind of to be expected, and there are some parts that don't exactly look the greatest. Like, there's a scene with these CGI monkeys, and it looks pretty good at times, and then when they're like running around, it's like, eh. But just the Colosseum feel in Rome, and all these ships and everything, and like everybody wearing like all the cool looking armor, it's just such a cool aesthetic. And the action looks pretty good too, like the sword fights and stuff. There's also some like pretty creative action scenes and fight scenes that I didn't really see coming. I already mentioned monkeys, but there's more fucking animals, and ones you wouldn't expect to be in there. It's gory, you got good sword fights, not crazy choreography or nothing. It's just like good solid old school sword fights. It's good stuff, and it was entertaining. Again, my biggest issue with this movie is just the pacing that gets ramped out the tits at the end, and overall just doesn't have that same emotional impact that the first one does. It's just missing something about it, man. But despite that, it's still a good movie. I'm glad I watched it, and I do think that it's a sequel that, I think it's worth a watch if you like the first one. It does not tarnish the original's legacy. It does not shit on it. It does not pull a Joker folie à douce. It's just a solid movie that doesn't quite reach up to its older brother. Did it need to be made? Of fucking course not. But it was made, and again, I feel like it did enough to justify its existence, and overall is a very well acted, decent movie. And that'll do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know what you thought, if you agree, disagree, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.